a world where innocence should be cherished, we are confronted with the heartbreaking reality of child abuse. The scars of child abuse run deep, affecting not only the victims themselves, but also their families and communities. One lady has made it her mission to provide a safe haven for child abuse victims, offering them a path towards healing, hope, and a brighter future. How? Let us find out. I'm Tej, host at Chezuba Talks, and more than 100 episodes later, I am convinced that there is in each of us the ability to create miracles. Only the brave few tap into it. Suzie Vybiral is the founder and CEO of Room Redux, an international nonprofit organization that transforms the rooms and, of course, the lives of children who have faced physical and or sexual abuse. This is done anonymously and within one day. Susie is L'Oreal Paris Woman of Worth 2022 National Honoree. She has been recognized for her selfless dedication. She is a member of the Texas Advisory Council for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and a member of Texas Women for Children, both of which work closely with the Texas Governor's Office. She is also an honorary member of the 7030 Wave Trust based in the UK. She believes room transformations equals life transformations. Welcome to Chezuba Talks, Susie.
Thank you so much for having me, Tej. I'm so happy to be here.
Susie, you say the therapeutic healing process is a key aspect that a child can process their trauma and develop coping skills. How did this idea of room redux come about?
Well, I was a family advocate at a children's advocacy center for 3 years, and every day I would hear the horrific stories of what's happening to our children. And this is not only in Texas; it's across the U.S., it's in India, it's across the world. And I would hear from the parents and the caregivers who have their children in counseling that, yes, she's starting to open up, but she's still not sleeping in her room and she hasn't in years. Or he's starting to kind of talk about the abuse, but he's still not making good grades, or his social skills are still poor. He's not having friends over. And it made
Mhm.
sense to me that, well, we should change their environment. These children are going back to a room where abuse occurred or there are triggers. But honestly, even if it didn't happen in that specific room, these children deserve to know that they're loved and cared about by people who don't even know them and who expect nothing from them.
Mhm. Yeah, what a noble thought that is. And to
Thank you.
even think that a change of environment would make healing so much better. So, can you explain when you say that you change the room in its entirety or a particular aspect, or do you change like you don't recognize a room at all? And what is the process of transforming a child's room?
Woo! Well, you can go on roomredux.org and look at some before and afters, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and see the before and afters. They are amazing. There's no cookie cutter. So each room is specifically tailored to that child. We do an assessment prior to the room transformation, and we ask, what colors does she like? What colors does she hate? What does he want to be when he grows up? What kind of animals does he like? What are their
Hmm.
hobbies? What are
Hmm.
they into? What would they like in the room? We find out all these things, and then that's when we start planning. So on room transformation day, there have been times when we pull up carpet and lay down new flooring, which we always get donated. We paint the rooms. We will do murals, new light fixtures, new furniture, new bedding, always a new mattress. And it's interesting that these changes in environment give the child a new lens through which they see the world. Even as small as changing the position of the bed can make a huge difference. It's yeah,
It's
but
true.
we go in with a team of volunteers early in the morning and work all day, and oh, the transformations are phenomenal. They're amazing.
I'm sure they are. I'm just wondering, how do you tell the child that you cannot go into the room for this entire day today? Do you have to take the parents into confidence and say that, okay, this is what is going to happen? And what are the tricks and treats? Treats, of course, I know. What are the tricks that you get them out of the room with?
Well, we plan it ahead of time. So when we go and assess the room, they're either in school or they've taken them, they're at the park or they're
To
somewhere for the
some.
day. And we do
Hmm.
the same thing for the room transformation because it's a surprise. We don't tell the parents don't tell the children unless the child would have an adverse effect if they don't like change, and then we say don't tell them
Hmm.
till the week of, otherwise children are asking when's it going to happen, when's it going to happen. But the
Yeah.
day of, either the parents arrange for them to be somewhere at a friend's house, or sometimes we send them somewhere fun for the day, an amusement park, something like that, so they're not in the home. We never see the
Hmm.
child, we don't come into contact, and they're they're not having to wait in another room. They're just not there when we're there.
Yeah, got that. Also, very curious to know what kind of team do you have which works with superhuman powers? Changing light fixtures and paint and carpet and everything.
Well, our team of volunteers across the country, we have fantastic volunteers. There are some people who know how to put down flooring or do light fixtures. Some people have never painted a wall in their life and they get to learn. So that's super fun too. You come and help transform a room. Don't feel like you have to have this expertise and superhuman knowledge about how to do things. You can learn that day. And it's fun too because volunteers, they often become friends. They learn from one another, and it's fun all around. It's a great bonding experience knowing that you're transforming a child's life and you get to learn how to do stuff.
Yes, indeed. I should come and volunteer at one of your projects because sometimes for me, transforming or changing some aspect of my rooms takes forever.
It does. You can see, kind of, it's kind of blurry, but during COVID, I realized that my little Zoom square, it was uninteresting. It was not my favorite color, and so I went out and
Hmm.
got paint and painted it bright orange. It's called Invigorate, and
Invigorate.
right, I changed my space, and now I come into this office and I feel invigorated and excited, and it was a transformation for me. So I can only imagine what it's like. And we do get feedback from parents and caregivers that, my goodness, they feel loved, they feel cared about, they feel empowered. They now sleep in their room
Absolutely.
when
Hmm.
they hadn't slept in their room for years. It's a safe space, and that's what we love.
Absolutely. It's such a fantastic idea. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you wait for that reaction. I'm sure you're filming or somebody is filming the reaction of the child when they see the room for the first time.
Very often, the parents or the caregivers, they will take pictures or they'll video and then they'll send them to me. Of course, it's confidential, so I don't share. We don't post anywhere, and nobody gets to
I
see it but
agree.
me or the
Yes.
executive director of the chapter. But the reactions, every single time I watch a reaction, I get chills. It brings tears to my eyes because they are just overwhelmed. They squeal with delight. They jump on the bed. They fall to the floor. They're overwhelmed with emotion that someone would do this
Just
specifically for
amazing.
them. And what's interesting too, I tell the parents, tell them whatever you want. You don't
Hmm.
have to say Room Redux did it. I mean, we're anonymous. We're confident. We don't need the credit. You can say that you
Hmm.
did it.
Hmm.
Very often, a relationship might be damaged. Maybe the child feels like
Yeah.
mom didn't protect her from mom's boyfriend, something like that. So she can say, I did this for you because I love you and I care about you. Or if they now live with grandma or a cousin, and maybe there are other children in the home and they don't feel like they belong there, or do they really love me?
Hmm.
Do they
Hmm.
really want me here? By transforming their room and taking credit for it, they see they do. They want me here. I belong. My name is in this room. It's for me. So it's wonderful.
That is so generous and magnanimous of you, Susie. You don't even want to take credit for what you've done. So that is true selflessness.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. We always say we are Room Redux. That's our hashtag. We are Room Redux, which
Mhm.
means
Mhm.
it takes all of us to do this. It's not just me. It's not just them. It's all of us. So if you have donated time, money, furniture, if you're a recurring donor, if you volunteer, if you do this like we're doing right now, then you are Room Redux. Thank you.
Mhm. Let's take a break to understand what Chezuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chezuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chezuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chezuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chezuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. So come to this factor of identifying and selecting children who will benefit from this room transformation. Do you Are you approached by the people concerned, or do you also go to some institute or agency to find out where you can give your services?
Very often, once I have done an interview or podcast or been on the news, things like that, I will get emails
Hmm.
from people saying, My child needs, deserves this, or I know of someone. And I always respond and I say, Are they in counseling? Please have their therapist reach out to us because we have to know that the children are in counseling for the trauma or have been through counseling for the trauma. So we get our referrals from counselors, psychologists, law enforcement, child protective services, the National Center for
Hmm.
Missing and Exploited Children, different task forces and agencies that help children. Because then too, we know that the perpetrator, the abuser, is out of the picture. They're not in the home.
Hmm.
They're out
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
child's life, hopefully in jail. And we're able to then also speak to the counselor and find out what type of therapeutic tools are you using in counseling? What do you suggest we put in the room? Maybe it's a meditation area with a big beanbag chair or a water feature, fidget spinners, a water, a punching bag, different things like that to help them when they're in their own space as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Yeah, I would assume that a lot of work and a lot of background research goes into what you actually do. So the D Day is much, much later, I believe. How much time does it take approximately for one project, for you to plan
Well,
one project?
I'll tell you what, we've done it like that where it's been a week turnaround, and I realized very quickly that's super difficult. So we like to give ourselves about 3 to 4 weeks minimum so that we can plan and shop and do an Amazon wish list because some
Hmm.
people may not be a recurring donor, but they may want to purchase that lamp that's going in that room and then they see it in the after photo. So we always have wish lists like that where people can shop. And so that takes a little bit of time. And we come up with a room transformation name. So we name every room transformation so we're not throwing children's names around. And
Okay.
it takes a little bit to design the perfect room and the theme and all of that kind of stuff. So
True. So I believe you must be having partnerships also in terms of, like, say, carpentry or some stores which are providing things, or maybe Amazon.
Well, we are always working on that. I've been working on that for years, 4 years now. And we have a flooring company that's local here where I am in Texas that donates the flooring. We have CertaPro painters here that donates the paint, which is awesome. We're working on larger partnerships. I've got out there, talks hopefully happening with retailers like Walmart and IKEA, Target,
Right.
places like that, because that would really help us. That would help us a lot.
Absolutely. And if somebody, some individual wants to help and volunteer with you, how can they go about it? Do they approach you or go to your website?
Yes, go to our website. And as you mentioned earlier, we do have chapters across America, and we're working on filing in other countries. That's a whole different animal. It takes a little longer, obviously. But if you are in a specific state in the United States, you can go on our website to find out if we have a chapter in your area. And I always say, if we don't have a chapter in your area, if you or anyone you know would like to start a chapter, it's all volunteer based, let me know, contact me, and we'll get that figured out. But if you want to volunteer at a room transformation or to help with events or be on an
Mhm.
advisory board for a chapter, go to the website and fill out the information. Every volunteer has to have a background check. Super easy, quick turnaround, and then you'll be good to go. And yes, you should definitely come help with a room transformation. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it sounds like a lot of fun, and you make it sound like so much fun. I'm sure it takes a lot of effort, but you make it sound like a lot of fun.
It is. We all run on adrenaline, and it's just go 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 go. But then at the end, it's always hard to get me out of the room because just to see it finally come to fruition and know that that
Yes,
child is going to be so happy. Whew, nothing like it.
yes. I've been watching these documentaries on television, which room makeovers or kitchen makeovers, and it's like they take some time, and the changes are phenomenal.
Mhm.
And if I have to look at every aspect, what do you do with the old stuff?
That's a great question. When we go and assess the room, I will ask the parent or the caregiver, and I write every single thing down. Do you want this nightstand to stay in the room? Do you want it to stay in the house somewhere? Am I taking it on the trailer? So we find out each thing.
Hmm.
Usually they say, take it all. It's all
Take
triggers,
it off,
it's
yeah.
all old, or they just don't want it. Sometimes they'll say, we'll keep it somewhere in the house. It's not a trigger,
Hmm.
but usually we'll take
Hmm.
it with us. And we have two warehouses here on our property where sometimes we'll
Okay,
upcycle that furniture. We can sand it and paint it
right.
and put it in a child's room. So yeah, we'll take it for them so they
In a
want.
different child's room, perhaps, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Super. Wonderful, Susie. I think you're doing fantastic work, and I am so impressed with what you're doing. And the very fact that you're doing it within that time window and delivering it on the same day, that speaks volumes.
It
So,
is.
just amazing.
Thank you. Sometimes it's absolutely crazy. We try to gauge how many volunteers we're going to need. For instance, last month we did, it was the most we've ever done, 7 room transformations in one home.
Wow.
Yes, it was in Uvalde, Texas, and it was for 6 children, 7 rooms because one was a bathroom where a lot of the abuse occurred. But we had, I don't even know how many. I'd have to count. We had so many people helping, so many wonderful volunteers. It was a referral from the FBI. So we had a lot of FBI members and Homeland Security there, and everyone worked joyfully. And at one point, I just walked around recording the sounds, and there's laughter and people saying, wow, it's
Yeah.
incredible. And it was a really neat experience. So when people are there, they are in it. They don't need to know what happened. Nobody ever asks, what happened to this child? Why are we here? They just get in and get it done. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Very, very heartwarming to hear all this. You're doing amazing work, Susie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that information about your nonprofit. You are doing fantastic work.
Thank you.
I believe that people who want to help will step forward and help wherever they are with transforming a room, and not only the room, but also the life of that child.
Yes.
by creating a safe and inviting space. Room Redux is helping children to overcome all sorts of problems in terms of sleep disturbances or behavioral issues and emotional challenges. I'm sure a lot of progress is happening there and making them resilient. Uh,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Susie.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, one of the things that, and I know we'll wrap up here, I could talk all day about room redux, but one of the things too that I'm actually working on my doctorate right now, and my research is focused on how the child's life is changed, of course, but the trajectory of their life can be transformed because these children are
Mm,
going to grow up and
mm,
run our world. We want them to be healthy and whole. We don't want them abusing other
absolutely.
children. We want them to be able to know that the world's not such a scary place, and they are important and they are worthy. So that's another big scale hope for
Yeah.
us.
I feel that you are not only rebuilding that room or the life of that child, I think you are rebuilding the entire system, entire community, and entire society. It is a big, big task that you are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
Amazing.
appreciate that so much, Tej. Thank you.
Susie, thank you very much for being on the podcast. Lovely talking to you.
Thank you. I loved it. Love being here. Thank you.